Everyone thinks Kendrick only took a few shots at Drake on GNX. The obvious ones, the quotable ones. But they're wrong. There are over 50 disses hidden in plain sight, and almost nobody caught them until now. This changes everything you thought you knew about this album. Everybody thought they knew the full story. Twitter argued about the loud bars, the ones Kendrick wanted you to catch. That was the surface level. But if you slow the album down and actually follow the breadcrumbs, there's a whole second layer nobody's talking about. The word choices, the callbacks, the timing, even the way Kendrick repeats certain phrases like he's daring you to connect the dots. This video breaks down every single one, from the direct shots to the subliminal burials. By the end, you'll know which lines are weapons and which ones Kendrick buried so deep that the internet missed them completely. Let's start with the title, because the title is the first diss. GNX isn't random, it's the Buick Grand National GNX, a legendary muscle car from 1987, which is also Kendrick's birth year. Now think about it. Kendrick is using this car's name as a symbol of power, speed, and dominance in hip-hop. He's saying he's always been ahead, always been above Drake. That's intentional, that's calculated. The whole album is built on that foundation. Now, let's jump into Out Murals, because this track acts like a protest song. Kendrick starts with the line, "Yesterday somebody whacked out my mural." He's referencing a real incident from September 8th, when Drake fans defaced a mural of Kendrick Lamar in Compton. That energy will make you move to Europe. He's saying the aggression here, the intensity, will make his opponent, Drake, run off to Europe. That's not just a bar, that's a threat wrapped in poetry. Next bar, "It used to be that, but now it's plural. Everybody that's on my body." Kendrick is saying this isn't just about one guy anymore. That word plural is key. He's talking to everyone who stood next to Drake, protected him, laughed with him, or stayed neutral while the shots were flying. He's putting everyone on notice, not just the king, the whole kingdom. Then he explains how that world moves. I watch him pander with them backhanded compliments. Kendrick is taking a direct jab at Drake's Instagram post, where he publicly praises Kendrick while privately sending messages to his own crew. Classic two-faced behavior. Kendrick sees it, and now everyone else does too. Next line, "Put their head on a Cuban link as a monument." Kendrick is mocking the idea that jewelry equals legacy, like a chain can substitute for real impact. Drake loves showing off his chains, his watches, his status symbols. Kendrick is saying a real monument is what you build, not what you wear. That's the difference between them. Then Kendrick drops this. Snoop posted tailor-made. I prayed it was the edibles. Kendrick expresses his disbelief that Snoop would post Drake's diss track. He's saying he couldn't believe it. He hoped Snoop was just high. That's disappointment mixed with shock, and Kendrick makes it public. Next bar. I think my hard work let Lil Wayne down. Kendrick is being honest while standing his ground. He's saying he earned what he earned, and if anyone feels let down, that's on them, not him. That's accountability without apology. That's strength. Then Kendrick drops one of the clearest "this is about Drake" bars, promising bank transactions and even Bitcoin. I never pieced it up. That doesn't sit well with me. Drake has a reputation for offering money in the streets to dig up information, skeletons, or ammo on his opponents during rap battles. Kendrick is saying he refused those tactics. He kept it clean. He kept it real. Right after that, Kendrick refuses to give Drake his famous nickname. My city couldn't entertain old boy. That means no one from Kendrick's city was willing to accept Drake's office of money to dig up dirt or information on Kendrick. His city stayed loyal. Drake's money didn't work. Then Kendrick says, I watched the party just die, cackling about. Now all of y'all is on trial. The laughing stage is over. When he says on trial, he's aiming at Drake's whole world. Everyone who laughed with Drake is now being judged publicly. That's cultural court, and Kendrick is the judge. After that, he follows with, you better off having one woman, everything tricky right now. That sounds like advice, but it's really a shot at Drake's messy lifestyle. Kendrick is saying when pressure hits, too many situations and too many people around you becomes a weakness. Somebody always leaks something. Somebody always switches sides. That's how the game works. And that's how Kendrick closes Out Murals. In this stretch, he makes it feel like Drake's side is being exposed in public. Not just one man, the whole operation. That's surgical, that's strategic. That's Kendrick Lamar operating on a level most rappers can't even see. Now we step into Squabble Up. and Kendrick's tone shifts from warning to pure confidence. The energy changes, the bars get sharper, and the disses get more personal. This is where Kendrick stops being polite and starts being surgical. First bar, God knows I am reincarnated. I was stargazing. Life goes on, my baby. Kendrick is saying he's built for this on a deeper level. Like it's not just rap, it's purpose. That hits Drake because Drake leans heavy on image and trends. Kendrick leans on legacy and substance. That's the difference. Then he slides into something that sounds goofy but isn't. Woke up looking for the broccoli. He's using a funny line like code. Broccoli is slang for money, for power, for the green. Kendrick is letting Drake know the pressure is still on even after the biggest moments already happened. The battle didn't end, it's still going. Next, Kendrick goes at identity and borrowing. A New York couldn't try me in the tri-state. He's saying you can't borrow a city slang and think that makes you official. Drake catches this because Drake is known for taking styles from different places and wearing them like outfits. Toronto one day, Atlanta the next, London after that. Kendrick is saying that's fake, that's costume, that's not roots. Then Kendrick paints Drake's reaction. Bounce out, now he's spooked, eyes dilated. He's describing Drake like somebody nervous when it's time to face real heat. Kendrick is saying the confidence looks big online, but in real life, the fear shows in your body and your movement. That's psychological warfare. That's reading your opponent's soul. Next, Kendrick mocks Drake's release tactics. Double back like a deluxe. He's saying Drake tries to change the story by dropping more music, like extra tracks can erase a loss, like bonus songs can rewrite history. Kendrick is calling that desperation. That's running from the truth. Then Kendrick hits the big crew thing. 50 deep, but it ain't deep enough. He's saying Drake can have a huge team and still be shallow. A crowd can make you look protected, but it can't give you real substance. Numbers don't equal depth. Kendrick knows that, and now he's saying it out loud. Then Kendrick disrespects the whole image game. Spit a loogie at the camera, speed off, yeah, it's us. Drake's world is polished and camera ready. Every post is curated, every angle is perfect. Kendrick is doing the opposite on purpose, like he doesn't care how it looks as long as it's real. That's rebellion. That's authenticity over aesthetics. Then Kendrick answers the money and numbers defense. I got hits, I got bucks, I got new paper cuts. He's admitting he has success, but he calls it paper cuts to show how small it feels. Drake loves leaning on charts and money as proof of greatness. Kendrick is saying those stats won't protect you when your respect is bleeding. That's devastating. That's truth. Next, he keeps it short and disrespectful. Sideways, bunk skunk. He's calling the product low quality, like it looks loud, but it doesn't hit when you test it. It's Kendrick telling you Drake can drop a lot and still feel empty. Quality doesn't equal quality. That's always been the argument. And then Kendrick closes this run by claiming the top spot. Fever, I'm the one. Fever makes Drake sound restless, like he's reacting and sweating. Kendrick is saying, I'm the standard, you're the response. That's Kendrick finishing Squabble Up with a clear stance. Drake can't out-rap him, can't outnumber him, can't out-image him, and definitely can't out-legacy him. But let's talk about the deeper motive here, because this isn't just bars, this is strategy. Kendrick watched Drake build an empire on borrowed culture, ghostwriters, and strategic cosigns. He watched Drake play the game differently, not by earning respect from the ground up, but by buying it, borrowing it, leasing it. And for years, Kendrick stayed quiet. He let it slide. He focused on his own craft. But GNX is different. This album is Kendrick saying enough. This album is Kendrick drawing the line in the sand and saying you don't get to rewrite hip-hop history. You don't get to call yourself the greatest when your foundation is built on other people's work. That's what this is really about. That's the motive. That's the mission. And every bar on this album serves that purpose. But here's the part that really hits different. The part that makes this feel personal. The part that makes you realize this isn't just competition. This is culture. This is legacy. This is respect. Kendrick isn't just battling Drake. He's battling the idea that you can skip the struggle and still claim the throne.
He's battling the idea that money and streams equal greatness. He's battling the idea that you can be the face of hip-hop without putting in the work. And that hits hard. Because it's not just about two rappers, it's about what hip-hop stands for. Think about it. Kendrick grew up in Compton. He watched his friends die. He watched his community suffer. He watched the streets shape him. And he turned that pain into poetry. He turned that trauma into truth. He didn't run from it. He didn't hide it. He didn't polish it for the cameras. He gave it to us raw. That's what makes Kendrick different. That's what makes him dangerous. Drake, on the other hand, grew up in Canada. He had a TV show, he had a platform, he had opportunities most rappers never get. And there's nothing wrong with that. But when you grow up with privilege and then try to act like you came from the bottom, people notice. When you borrow slang from cities you didn't grow up in, people notice. When you switch accents depending on who you're collaborating with, people notice. And Kendrick noticed. He noticed everything. And now he's making sure we notice too. This emotional layer is what makes GNX more than just a diss album. It's a statement. It's a reminder. It's a wake-up call to everyone who thought Drake's version of hip-hop was the only version. Kendrick is saying no. There's another way. There's a harder way. There's a realer way. And that way still matters. The pain in Kendrick's voice when he talks about his city, the pride when he talks about his legacy, the anger when he talks about disrespect, that's not performance. That's real. And you can feel it in every bar. You can feel it in every pause. You can feel it in every word he chooses to say and every word he chooses to leave out. This isn't just rap beef. This is cultural warfare. And Kendrick is fighting for something bigger than himself. He's fighting for the artists who came before him. He's fighting for the artists who will come after him. He's fighting for the integrity of the culture. And that's why this matters. That's why GNX matters. That's why every single diss on this album matters.
Now let's move to Hey Now, where Kendrick gets even colder. The temperature drops, the bars get icier, and the enforcement begins. This is where Kendrick stops explaining and starts executing. First bar. The Black Noah, I just strangled me a goat. Kendrick is saying he killed the goat myth that Drake keeps wearing like a crown. Calling himself Noah makes it feel like Kendrick is saving the culture from a flood, and Drake is the flood. That's biblical. That's powerful. That's imagery you can't forget. Then he contrasts real ties with fake ties. Send the kites to all my dirties in the pen. Kendrick is saying his connections are real, even when it doesn't look cool. He's implying Drake's relationships are often for business or for appearance. Kendrick's people are loyal because they're real. Drake's people are loyal because they're paid. That's the difference. Next, he talks about Drake's meltdown energy. You crash out, then you better break the backboard. Kendrick is mocking how Drake spirals when he loses control of the story. He's saying if you're gonna lose it, at least make it memorable. At least make it worth something. But Drake's crashes feel empty. They feel desperate. They feel performative. Then Kendrick laughs at Drake's mastermind persona. You know, the last one figured he was Magneto. He's saying Drake acts like a villain who can control everything. Kendrick is calling that fantasy. Like Drake is performing power while losing the real fight. Like he's pretending to be the mastermind while Kendrick is actually pulling the strings. Then Kendrick drops the cold flex. I put a square on his back like I'm Jack Dorsey. He's using square like Cash App energy. Like he tagged Drake and cashed him out. He's basically saying Drake got handled like a transaction, like he's not even a threat. He's just a target. And Kendrick hit the target. Right after, Kendrick turns it into a discipline talk. We got the same 24, what you mad for? He's saying both men get the same 24 hours, so excuses don't matter. Kendrick uses his time for craft and legacy. Drake uses his time for optics and control. One is building something permanent, the other is chasing something temporary. Then he goes to Drake's persona. You play God, you're gonna get what you ask for. Kendrick is calling Drake's God image arrogance. He's saying pride always comes with consequences, and nobody stays untouchable forever. Gravity always wins, and Kendrick is gravity. Then Kendrick explains why his presence hits harder. It's high beams if I make a public appearance. Kendrick is saying when he shows up,
It blinds the room like headlights. That quietly disses Drake's constant visibility, because Kendrick is implying rarity creates power. Drake is everywhere all the time. Kendrick picks his moments, and when he shows up, it matters more. Then Kendrick takes a calm victory lap. Let the honorary walk for the win. He's saying the result is already decided and now it's just a ceremony. He refuses to sound excited, which makes it even more disrespectful, like this was never a fair fight, like the outcome was obvious from the start. Then Kendrick attacks the screen. Turn this TV off, turn this TV off. He is warning people not to confuse visibility with respect. He's also implying Drake is addicted to being watched. Drake needs the camera. Kendrick doesn't. That's independence. That's power. Then Kendrick pokes the bruise with one word: mustard. He's pulling Drake back to the moment that hurt publicly. It's a trigger word that makes the audience remember the loss without Kendrick even explaining it. That's psychological. That's brutal. That's next level. Then he closes the door. Alpha and Omega, welcome home. Alpha and Omega means beginning and end. Kendrick is saying he controls the full story. Welcome home sounds sarcastic, like Drake is being dragged back to reality, like he tried to escape but Kendrick brought him back. Then Kendrick makes the mission clear. This is a revelation. How to get a gone. Ain't arguing anymore. He's instructing. Kendrick is saying the culture is watching how a false king gets removed, step by step. This isn't a debate. This is a lesson. This is a manual. This is how you dismantle someone who doesn't belong on the throne. Then Kendrick circles back to money and power. Pay your bill and make you feel protected like I can. He's mocking the idea that paying for things makes you a leader or a protector. Money can buy comfort, but comfort isn't respect. Drake can buy loyalty. Kendrick earns it. That's the difference. That's always been the difference. And he ends the warning. Don't put your life in these weird hands. Kendrick isn't just calling that side corny. He's calling it unsafe. He's telling people Drake's circle is risky and unpredictable. That's a safety message. That's Kendrick looking out for the culture. That's leadership. Now, this whole situation gets even crazier when you realize how deep Kendrick planted these seeds. Because GNX didn't just drop out of nowhere. This album is the result of years of watching, years of studying, years of staying quiet while Drake built his empire. And now Kendrick is deconstructing that empire brick by brick, bar by bar, song by song. Let's talk about the broader context, because if you look at Kendrick's career, he's always been the quiet assassin. He doesn't do the Twitter rants, he doesn't do the Instagram live meltdowns, he doesn't do the public back and forth. He waits, he calculates, he builds, and then he strikes. That's what makes him terrifying. That's what makes him different. Think about control. Kendrick called out the entire industry in one verse, and everyone respected it because it was real, it was competitive, it was hip-hop. But Drake's response wasn't to step up lyrically, it was to play politics, it was to build alliances, it was to control the narrative through influence instead of skill. And Kendrick saw that. He filed that away, and now years later, he's using that against him. Or think about the Pulitzer Prize. Kendrick became the first rapper to win a Pulitzer for Damn. That's not just an achievement, that's validation. That's proof that what Kendrick does transcends the genre. It's art, it's literature, it's culture. And Drake can't touch that. No amount of streams or chart positions or Billboard records can give you a Pulitzer. You have to earn that through substance, through depth, through truth. And that's what this battle is really about. It's about substance versus style. It's about legacy versus popularity. It's about respect versus fame. Drake has the fame, he has the numbers, he has the visibility, but Kendrick has the respect. He has the legacy, he has the culture, and in hip-hop, that's what matters most. Fans online have been dissecting GNX like it's a crime scene. They're slowing down tracks, analyzing every pause, every inflection, every ad-lib. They're comparing bars to old interviews, old tweets, old lyrics. They're building timelines, they're creating spreadsheets, they're turning into full-blown investigators. And what they're finding is that Kendrick didn't just diss Drake on this album. He built an entire case. He presented evidence. He called witnesses. He delivered a verdict. And Drake's response? Silence. at least for now. Because what can you say when someone dismantles you this thoroughly? What can you say when someone exposes every weakness, every contradiction, every fake move you've ever made? You can drop more music, sure, but that's just noise. That's just distraction. That's just trying to change the subject, and everyone sees through it. Meanwhile, Kendrick is calm. He's unbothered. He's at peace because he knows he did what he came to do. He said what needed to be said. He defended the culture. He protected the legacy. And now he's letting the album speak for itself. That's confidence. That's maturity. That's mastery. This story is bigger than just two rappers. It's about what we value as a culture. It's about what we celebrate. It's about what we protect. And Kendrick is reminding us that talent matters, that authenticity matters, that truth matters. And no amount of money or marketing or manipulation can replace that.
What we're seeing here is a cultural reckoning. This isn't just Kendrick versus Drake. This is authenticity versus performance. This is substance versus surface. This is the old guard of hip-hop reminding the new generation what this culture was built on. Hip-hop was born in the Bronx. It was born in the struggle. It was born in the streets. It was born as a way for people who had nothing to say something, to be something, to create something out of nothing. And that spirit, that raw energy, that truth, that's what Kendrick represents. That's what he's fighting for. Drake represents something different. He represents the commercialization of hip-hop, the mainstreaming, the sanitization. And again, there's nothing wrong with success. There's nothing wrong with going mainstream. But when you go mainstream and forget where you came from, when you prioritize popularity over integrity, when you chase trends instead of setting them, that's when you lose respect. That's when you lose the culture. And the bigger conversation is about responsibility, because Drake has influence, he has power, he has a platform, and with that comes responsibility. When you constantly appropriate culture, when you borrow from cities and communities without giving back, when you treat collaboration like a transaction instead of a connection, you're not just building a brand, you're eroding trust, you're damaging the ecosystem, you're taking without giving. And eventually, people notice. Eventually, people push back. And that's what Kendrick is doing. He's pushing back. This is also a warning for anybody with a platform. The more you prioritize image over substance, the more you prioritize fame over respect, the more you prioritize numbers over legacy, the more you risk losing everything that actually matters. Because fame is temporary, numbers are temporary, trends are temporary, but legacy is forever, respect is forever. And once you lose those, you can't buy them back. You can't stream your way back. You can't chart your way back. You have to earn them. And that takes time. That takes work. That takes truth. Kendrick's situation is a wild example, but it's also a blueprint. It's a reminder that you can't fake longevity. You can't fake impact. You can't fake cultural significance. You have to build it. You have to earn it. You have to protect it. And when someone threatens it, you have to defend it. That's what GNX is. It's defense. It's protection. It's preservation. And the culture is watching. The culture is learning. The culture is remembering what real looks like.
And now let's get into the final piece, Man at the Garden. Because this is where Kendrick delivers the kill shot. This is where he closes the case. This is where he leaves no doubt. The most famous bar is this: "Tell me why you think you deserve the greatest of all time." Kendrick is challenging Drake's GOAT claim directly. He's saying, don't just say it, prove it. Because Drake often leans on numbers as proof. He points to the charts, the streams, the sales. But Kendrick is saying that's not enough. That's never been enough. Greatness isn't measured in units sold. It's measured in impact, in influence, in legacy. Then he draws a hard line. Keep these away from me. This isn't negotiation. This is separation. Kendrick treats Drake's side like something that contaminates your space, like associating with that energy makes you complicit, like standing next to fake makes you fake too. That's powerful, that's decisive, that's final. Then he turns damage into art. More blood be spilling, it's just paint to me. Kendrick is saying every messy moment becomes permanent proof. Drake might try to hide damage, cover it up, spin it, reframe it, but Kendrick turns it into something you can't erase. He turns it into history. He turns it into art. He turns it into truth. Then he talks about mass. Flip a coin. You want the shameless me or the famous me? He's describing how fame can make you perform different versions of yourself. Drake catches this because he's known for switching personas depending on the room. He's the tough guy in one song, he's the lover boy in another. He's the street guy in one city, he's the pop star in another. Kendrick is saying that's not versatility, that's confusion, that's lack of identity, that's trying to be everything to everyone and ending up being nothing to anyone. Then Kendrick describes the fall. You fell out of heaven, didn't like authority. He's revising Drake as someone who couldn't handle limits or being told no. Kendrick is saying Drake wanted control so badly that he fought truth and accountability. He wanted to be the biggest without being the best. He wanted the crown without the burden. He wanted the title without the responsibility. And that's not how it works. That's not how it's ever worked. And that's the real GNX story. Not a few shots, not a few obvious bars, but a whole message, a complete narrative, a full dismantling. Kendrick didn't just respond to Drake. He documented him, he analyzed him, he exposed him, he archived him. And now the culture has the receipts. Now the culture has the truth. And once the truth is out, you can't put it back. You can't hide it. You can't spin it. You can only accept it.
Stay locked in, because this story is far from over. More details are dropping. More bars are being decoded. And reports say Drake might be planning a response. So the culture is watching, the internet is waiting, and everyone wants to see what happens next. So drop your thoughts in the comments. Do you think Kendrick bodied Drake on GNX? Do you think Drake can respond to this level of surgical precision? Or do you think Kendrick just closed the book on this entire debate? Let me know what you think. Let me know which bars hit you the hardest. Let me know which disses you caught that I didn't cover in this video. Make sure you like the video if you learned something new. Hit subscribe if you want more deep dives like this. And turn on notifications so you don't miss a single update, because we're covering every twist, every response, every development that comes out of this situation. I appreciate you for rocking with me through this entire breakdown. This was a long one, but it had to be, because Kendrick gave us a masterclass. He gave us a blueprint. He gave us a reminder of what real hip-hop looks like. And that deserves to be studied. That deserves to be respected. That deserves to be remembered. If you caught a bar I missed, drop it below and tell me what it means. If you have a different interpretation of any of these lines, I want to hear it, because that's the beauty of Kendrick's writing. It's layered, it's deep, it's open to analysis, and every time you listen, you catch something new. I'll see you in the next one. Stay safe out there. And remember, in a world full of trends, be a standard. In a world full of noise, be a voice. In a world full of performance, be real. That's what Kendrick is teaching us. That's what this album is about. And that's what the culture needs right now. Peace.